Hey there, my friends. Hi. How are you? I hope you're having a good day. And I always say, if you can't have a good day, at least have a day. Today, I'm saying it at the beginning. Right. So good to have you here. Thank you for coming across the Marvin Mukanaka YouTube channel. I'm absolutely grateful and humbled that you could give me your presence and your precious time. Out there, they said time is money. We said time is life. So thank you for spending your life here with me. Important piece of conversation once again, and as we get into that, quick reminders as usual, as per tradition. Please subscribe to the channel, and then also like and share, and then also send those comments. Let's keep vibing and talking to each other and building each other up towards positivity. All right, today, interesting. I want to share a video with you. This is going to be really short. My talking is going to be brief, and the video is going to be brief as well. So we could be here for about 15 minutes or so, because I want to respect your time and all of that. I try to be as compact as I can. All right, so this is going to tell you what the subject is all about. As soon as you see this video, but I need to show you this evidence before I say anything. So I want you to go ahead and just watch this video. I think it's about 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll wrap up in 3 minutes. All right? Enjoy this.
That I'm about to tell today, even though it happened years ago, still gives me chills, and I feel like it has a lot to do with why I quit my job. So I used to work in long-term care, for those of you that don't know, pretty much a nursing home. I was a certified nursing assistant out of high school. This was my first big girl job, okay? So when I first started, I didn't know a lot about the different types of shifts, but there's pretty much 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. I worked the 7 to 3, which was 7 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As time went on, I slowly started to transition to 3 to 11 to work around my college courses, but every now and then I would pick up an 11 to 7 shift. It didn't take long before I started working there where people were telling me about this one particular resident that had an issue with people of a certain color coming into his room. I didn't have too much interaction with this resident because, like I said, I only worked 7 to 3, and you didn't have to do a lot for him. Just go in and check on him and make sure he was okay. Bring him his food tray. Every now and then he might ask you for help to go to the bathroom, but that was about it. I had heard that this resident could get kind of nasty sometimes. I also heard that he had dementia, so he was like seeing stuff. And I also remember going in his room a couple times and seeing all of the mirrors in his room covered up. This is gonna come back later. So on my first 11 to 7, we'll call this nurse Patty. Patty pulled me aside and she was like, hey, this is the list of people pretty much doing a report for when I first, clocked in, starting my shift. She told me who I had, who was total assist, which I had to do everything for, and who I could pretty much, let. So I noticed that this list had this certain patient's number on it, this certain resident's number on it. His room number was on there. But instead of it saying, just limited assistance or whatever, it was like total assist. So I asked, I'm like, I know I have him during the day and I just go in and check on him and make sure he's okay. If he rings the call light, I'll go in. But other than that, that's about it. When did he become a total assist? So she proceeds to tell me that the night before, he got so scared and so frantic and thought something was in his room that he jumped out of his bed and fell on the floor and did something to his hip. So at this point, currently, he's a total assist, meaning I have to go in, I have to check on him, I have to do everything for him. I said, cool, no problem. I start doing my rounds, I start checking on my people, passing out ice water, changing people, as I normally do. Literally not even 15 minutes into my shift, his call light is on. I go in, I make sure everything's okay. As soon as I get in, I kid you not, this man is literally in the fetal position. I walk up to him and I ask him if everything's okay. Obviously, when I walk up to him, I'm very careful because, like I stated before, he did not like people of my color coming into his room. During the day, he would make a big deal out of this. Like, if he could get a nurse or a nursing assistant of a different color, he definitely would. He did not pay that any mind. He literally jumped straight into, they're in here, they're after me, please help me. I'm looking like, who is they? He's like, you don't see that little boy behind you? No, I can't say that I do, sir. So it took me literally 15 minutes, and by the grace of God, I was able to calm this man down. We're going to call him Mr. Johnson. After I calmed Mr. Johnson down, I left out of the room, and I went and did my rounds like usual. Literally, not even 10 minutes later, he's back on the call light. I said, okay, maybe he's got to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know. So I went in, checked. This time when I went in the room, I noticed that the room was extremely cold. Extremely cold. When I went in there earlier, it was not cold like that. Now, the nursing home, That nursing home in particular was a little colder on the graveyard shift. But when I tell you it was cold to the point where I could see my breath cold. At this point, not only is he in the fetal position, but he is also under the covers, and he is also crying. So I walk up to him. I lift the cover up. I look under the cover. Again, he's sitting under there. We make immediate eye contact, and he's like, help me, please, help me. So I'm trying to calm him down because whatever he's seeing, I'm just not seeing it. So I'm like, Mr. Johnson, I'm going to need for you to cooperate with me. I'm going to need for you to tell me what's going on so I can better assist you and we can get through this shift together. At this point, I'm doing what I've been taught to do for somebody that's going through a dementia or Alzheimer's crisis, which is what I was told that he had. He calms down a little bit and he literally just starts talking. And when I tell you this got crazy quick, it got crazy quick. So he's telling me that when he was younger, about his 20s or 30s, he was married to a young woman. We're going to call her Maggie. Him and Maggie had just bought a farm. It was literally just him and Maggie. And before you knew it, Maggie got pregnant. Back then, it literally wasn't uncommon to have people of color hired as help to help you on the farm, to help you raise kids, whatever the case may be. This was post-slavery, but people was very much still feeling entitled to doing whatever they wanted to do to people of color. So that's the time frame we in. He tells me that months go down the line, whatever. He goes and he wakes up early one morning. He sees that his wife is a little uncomfortable. She tells him like maybe the baby's coming or whatever. He doesn't think nothing of it. He goes out, get on his tractor, and he does his farm work. He has a farm hand named Tommy. Tommy is a black man, okay? Around lunch, he's guessing is when his wife went into labor while he was still out in the field. His wife called her mother-in-law, which was Mr. Johnson's mom. Her sister-in-law and his brothers came as well. Everybody's making sure that everything's going okay. The baby is finally born at some point. When the baby is born, I guess everybody in the room looked around at each other and realized that this baby was not in no way, shape, or form white. The brothers immediately take the baby and they go outside. His mom sits there with her and they go. They snatch this baby and they take the baby outside. Meanwhile, all this is going on. Him and Tommy are still out in the field. They took this baby out into a body of water. And I will not be saying what they did to this baby, but you can only imagine for the time period. Him and Tommy finally wrap up their work for the day and he heads back to the house. When he gets inside the house, he sees his wife sitting there with his mother. His wife is crying. His mom's just sitting there irritated and pissed off. He asks what's going on, and that's when she gives him the whole rundown that your wife was pretty much sleeping with your field hand, and this is the situation that you're in. So he asks, where's the baby? And the mom says, your brother's taking care of it. Don't worry about it. You need to figure out what you're going to do with her. Meanwhile, this is going on. His brothers have went and got Tommy out of the field. The things that they did to Tommy, again, I cannot describe it here on TikTok, but just imagine the torture and everything that he went through. They literally just left him there in that field. They left him there in the middle of the field. This man proceeds to tell me that when he finally figures out what happened and what his brothers did, they literally acted like nothing ever happened. And every night, Tommy and his son will come and visit him like clockwork. At this point, when I tell you the chills are running up my spine, literally every hair on my body is sticking up. I don't know what to say. I'm like, when they say frozen in fear, I was frozen in fear. Because it's like, as soon as he told me that story, I could pick up on what was in the room. Before, I couldn't pick up on what it was, but I could immediately feel something else in the room with us. After he told me the story, I finally got him to calm down and he went to sleep. He slept for literally a couple hours, and at this point, we're at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like clockwork, he hits that call light again. I go back in. I remember walking into the room and all of the sheets were taken off of the mirrors, which I thought was very strange, because he wanted his mirrors covered up for a reason. I went over to Mr. Johnson and I touched him to make sure that he was okay. And this man was ice cold. He had died. As I went to leave the room to go contact a nurse, oh my God, I'm getting chills. I'm literally passing by this mirror. And as I'm headed out, on my left is the mirror. I turn and look in the mirror, and behind me, to the far wall of Mr. Johnson's room, I see a taller figure and I see a shorter figure standing beside this taller figure that I would say is probably about the height of a 5-year-old child. I have never seen nothing like that in my life, ever. And I cannot explain the amount of fear that ran through my body, but I got out of that room so quick, I will tell you that. The crazy part is that when the nurse came in, we could not understand how these mirrors got uncovered. Even the one in the bathroom was uncovered. The one in his room was uncovered. Again, this is a man that just hurt his hip yesterday. There's no reason why he should have been out of bed taking these blankets off this mirror, and I know he wouldn't have done it anyway. Also, the fact that she felt like he had been dead for longer than I said he had. But again, I had just talked to Mr. Johnson. I had literally just talked to him. So I don't understand how a dead man talks, but maybe y'all can let me know. And when I tell you, baby, I only lasted 3 more days after that. I didn't sleep for days.
Okay. I don't know if you're feeling like me. I'm feeling the chills and the goosebumps, my hair standing up and everything. Because you listen to that, it really just, it works on you. Yeah, but on a serious note, this is not a laughing matter. Part of the reason why I've shared this is because, first of all, I'm not surprised that this has happened. Some people would say that it's a story that she just cooked up, this can't happen and all of that. But I've actually seen 3 other videos. And 2 of those that I saw were actually white women who were sharing their own personal experiences. I think one of them was had an experience with her husband. I think they lived in a mansion and things like that. And then they started having similar kind of encounters. So it looks to me, and I've also seen somebody else that I follow on YouTube who has also shared videos of white people saying that they are being haunted by the ancestors of black people. So I don't know if this has been happening for a very long time. For me, I think that it's possible this could have been happening for a very long time and people just haven't been opening up. So, but I truly believe personally that incidents like that are going to become very, very popular, very, very common. That is going to become commonplace. I don't know if you remember, if you've seen any of my videos where I said, you know, we're going to get to a time in this world where being this race, being the superior race, I don't want to mention it because people kind of accuse you of things, because I don't do this to get back at anyone or to promote hatred. No, I'm doing this for the purpose of healing. And I want you to understand that both black and white and those in between that spectrum need healing. Like once, I forget who this author is who said that racism hurts all of us. Racism hurts everyone. Okay? But I expect incidents like this and encounters like this to be much more in the future. I don't know what the reason is, but for me, this is just common sense. This is just common sense. The things that have been done to humanity by our friends is too much. It's too much, and even they themselves, you can see signs that they're afraid. They're afraid of consequences because they know that there's consequences for this. But then for those of you who maybe you are a member of the superior race, and the reason I'm using these terminologies because, like I've told you, I want to stay away from these terms that we've been using, which only promote racism. I don't want to keep referring to them. I only refer to them for the purpose of clarification and context. All right. But for those of you that are maybe you're a member of the superior race, or for some reason you've been aligning yourself to the superior race because you're much lighter than the rest of us, you know, do yourself a favor. You know, repent of this thing. Don't involve yourself and become a voice against it. There's a video I made some weeks ago where I brought a white man who was talking about how he believes that a lot of his members of his race are racist. And then he talked about how many of them will say, I'm not racist. I just ignore it. I don't take part in it or whatever. But he asked a question, he said, but what are you doing about it? Because the important thing is what we do about it. And that's why for me I make these videos. This is my advocacy. This is my education to every person, every member of whatever race that you think you belong to, which don't even exist. It's a fantasy. All right? So I expect those kinds of incidents to go up. We need to make up for this thing. And I was saying, I lost myself a little bit there. I was saying that if you're a member of this superior race, or you are a member of other races that look close to them, and therefore you think you're more superior than those who look like us, do yourself a favor. Disconnect yourself from this, repent of it, and become an advocate for positive change, for a better society. That's the least we can do. And so this for me is the reason why I make these videos, is the reason why I've written even my book, White Legacy, is advocacy. So we can create a better planet, a better world for all of us. It's unfortunate that it takes a thing like this for some people to realize this is serious. You can't be mistreating people like this. You know, and then obviously we don't celebrate a thing like that. But at the end of the day, if people keep insisting on this thing and not come out and pay reparations and make up for it somehow, repent publicly and denounce this theory and adamantly say there's no black or white or brown or anything, there isn't. We're just one race. If we don't do that, those kinds of things are going to increase. They're going to increase. And that's not the only thing that will be happening. There'll be a lot of other things happening. A lot of other things happening. So it's sad to see. It's sad to see. But nature is having its way. And nobody's going to stop nature. And we know nature is controlled by God. So let me hear your comments and what you think. Or if you've heard of experiences like this yourself. Maybe you also have a video that we can share and be able to kind of just continue to agitate and advocate for change using those kinds of things. So once again, I appreciate your time and I wish you a lovely day. I'll see you on the next one. For now, let's go catch the day. Bye-bye.